Beyond the frustrations of his public life, Robinson was anguished by what was happening to his oldest son, Jackie Jr.
His father was a walking god, and Jackie Jr. was not that kind of person. I mean, he was a guy who had to find his own way and his own identity.
At some point, he stopped trying, and then he goes off to Vietnam, has people, friends killed all around him, turns to drugs, and it's a familiar story in some ways.
A news reporter called his office and told him, your son's just been arrested on drug charges. We all met as a family. We went to the jail as a family. We checked on Jackie first, and then my father went up and dealt with the press. My dad said, you know, I'm responsible. I take personal responsibility for this because I couldn't get to my child. Look, it happened in my home. It could happen in your homes.
There was a real recovery program that he entered, and he began to turn his life around. And then, I mean, the irony of ironies, he died in a car crash.
He just agonized. He said, Carl, all the kids I've talked to, he said, all the places I've been, he said, maybe I didn't spend enough time with my own son.
It was very, very moving and touching service. We went out on the street, and Jack was talking to young people on Green Avenue in Brooklyn, telling them about drugs, telling them about the hell that heroin would take them to. He'd come in there weeping with grief at his son, and he came out helping the young people. Hemingway says courage is grace under pressure. There was grace under pressure.
His spirit broken, Robinson's physical condition worsened after his son's death in 1971. He was losing an extended battle with diabetes.
He could hardly see. In fact, I asked him to sign something for me, and it was upside down. And he was signing it upside down. I had to turn it around.
There was one day when I no longer could deny, you know, that my father was getting sicker. You know, he walked slower, and he had the limp, and he was going blind.
Standing on the corner of 7th Avenue and 52nd Street, I heard a voice that I recognized, and listen, I don't mean any harm, but would you just let me hold your shoulder? I don't see so well. I just would like to help to get across the street. And it was Jackie Robinson.
He was a guy who, in his 40s, looked like he was 70.
With his life draining out of him, Robinson doggedly waged the war he started 25 years earlier. When asked to attend the 1972 World Series, he refused, citing as his reason the absence of a single black manager in the major leagues.
I said, supposing I told you that I am working very hard on that right now, and I promise you I'll get it done, just a matter of time, I will get it done. Would that make any difference? And he said, I'll think about it. So I think he called me the next day or two, and he said, yeah, I'll do it, because of that promise.
Jackie didn't like promises. He said to me, don't put me in my grave promising that my son will have equality. You give me equality, so then I know he'll have equality.
He was critical of baseball. He always had this intensity, like, if I'm going to get this done, I only got one lifetime. I mean, I got to get it done. It's never finished. It's never finished. We're not there yet.
I'm extremely proud and pleased to be here this afternoon, but must admit I'm going to be tremendously more pleased and more proud when I look at that third base coaching line one day and see a black face managing in baseball. Thank you very much.
That was Robinson. He spoke his mind. He stood up and said what he wanted to say, and with that, he exited the stage.
Jackie Robinson died today. He was 53 years old, and he died of what appears to have been a heart attack at his home in Stamford, Connecticut.
I remember saying that he got a hit to get on first, he stole second, he stole third, and in the end, against all these odds, everybody suspected he might steal home, and he made a dash for home plate, and Jackie won. And when Jackie won, all of us won.
And one of the Dodger people about 20 minutes later said to me, it was a great eulogy, but he didn't steal home. He didn't want to die. He's up there right now, and he's torn off his cap, and he's saying, I was only 53 years old. That's one lousy call.
Even today, when I think of Jackie, I can still visualize him. I still hear his voice. I see him dancing off first base, driving pitches crazy. I see him coming down the line at third base. I see him hitting with his hands held high and the bat straight in the air. I still can visualize Jackie.
He was a tough character, and he was complicated. And he died early because the pressure and stress destroyed his body. But he was a great man who died for our sins.